Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to bringing the Vision video. What I guess today are some tips and tricks for PvP builds. Now, first of all, I do want to say this video might be a little bit repetitive if you are a veteran player to the game, if you are a player that has been playing this for many days. But I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of requests to make a video pretty much giving tips and tricks for PvP. Now, I'm not saying after watching this video you're going to become a god or, you're going to drop 50 kills your next last stand game. But I am saying if you guys are struggling in the Dark Zone, Skirmish, Last Stand, whatever you're playing, hopefully these tips help you guys out, and I'm going to explain to you why I recommend using them and, why these things are very good for PvP. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for my videos, and let's get right into this. Now the first thing I do want to say before I start is if you guys are playing PvP without any classified builds, that could be the problem. As you guys know, right now the game is set up, most people run Nomad, Predmark, Striker, even Alpha Bridge. Those builds are pretty much the PvP builds, and if you don't have anything like that, if you're using a high-end / exotic build or Predmark Banshee build, that could be one of the issues why you're struggling in PvP, especially in the Dark Zone, since the builds are, really dependent on what you have and like what rolls and stuff like that. It doesn't max out like it does in Last Stand. Classified builds are just that much better, so as I said, if you don't have any of them, I'd recommend playing the next global event. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right into this. So the first thing I would recommend using is a booster shot. Now I know what you guys are saying, why should I be using a booster shot if my skill power sucks, if my electronics is very low? It's not going to help me anything, it's not going to heal me at all in a gunfight. Well, the reason why you want to use a booster shot over a overdose or pretty much anything for PvP, if you are playing solo and, no one can really heal you, is because of the damage resistance and the damage increase you get. Now, I'm not really sure on the specific exact numbers that your damage gets increased. I do think it's a lot. It's like, 3,000-4,000 sometimes. But also the damage resistance is very important that you get it on it as well. It's not something that's going to keep you alive, for additional 20 seconds or 10 seconds. But it is something that's going to help you survive those one-on-one gunfights, or even if you're running away, especially in the Dark Zone, and someone's shooting you in the back, you could pop a booster shot and take that damage resilience to your character and pretty much just run away without taking all the damage someone is shooting at you. Now, as I said, if you are in a 1v1 gunfight or you're even getting shot by a full team, popping a booster shot can definitely help you stay alive a little bit longer and potentially kill them because of the damage increase. And also, if you are in a 1v1, the person has the same exact build. For example, let's say you're using Striker or Nomad, the same stats, the same everything, but the only difference is they're using a overdose. You are 99.9% going to win that gunfight because of the booster shot. So as I said, if you are struggling to get kills, if you are struggling to kind of stay alive and you're taking a lot of damage from players and you have a lot of health and stuff like that, try switching to a booster shot and see if it helps you out. The next thing I do want to focus on is critical hit chance and critical hit damage for PvP. You'd be surprised how many players use a SMG build and they don't spec anything else into critical hit chance because they do think the 24% you get from the SMG is good enough, and they wonder why they're getting folded, why they can't really do that much damage, and why they can't get a lot of kills in PvP. In my opinion and in my mind, if you're not spec'd into a lot of critical hit chance, especially how the meta is right now, you're losing out on a lot of damage, and for three things, that is the mask, the holster, and the gloves, you 100% want to be in critical hit chance for all three of those. As I said, if you don't go into that, you are potentially losing on a lot of damage and, just doing better in PvP. Also, for the weapon mods, no matter what you're using, it could be assault rifle, SMG, even an LMG, you always want to spec into critical hit chance and critical hit damage, in my opinion. It's the best bang for your buck, and sometimes the accuracy and the stability might be a little bit difficult to control, but you could always get used to that and you can always kind of control it, but you cannot add critical hit damage and critical hit chance that much without having them on your weapon mods. The third tip I have for you guys is a must in my opinion, and that is the immune station. Now, I'm not saying you have to use a immune station to drop a lot of kills, because you could obviously use a flame turret, a shock turret, even a pulse to help you out. But I am saying if you are struggling to counter some of the annoying things that are happening in PvP, like the burn or the shock or even the disrupt, whatever is going on in PvP, especially in Last Stand, the immune station is your best friend. Not only does this thing cleanse you from most of the status effect in the game, like burn, shock, disrupt, everything like that, It also gives you a lot of health. It gives you 1/3 of your health bar no matter how much skill power or electronics you have on your build. It could be all the way up, it could be maximum, or it could be very, very low electronics. It's always going to give you 1/3 of your health. And lastly, you get it back way, way quicker than pretty much any of your other skills if you have no skill haste on your build. The next thing I do have for you guys is kind of underrated and kind of overlooked at, and what that is the precision talent. This, in my opinion, is one of the best talents you can use for a damage build for PvP in general, especially how the game is set up now, with the skill power and electronics being very low. For that reason, no one really uses pulse, because it doesn't really help you out that much. It only gives you like 7% critical hit chance and almost 9% critical hit damage. For that reason, if you're not using a skill power build, a electronic build, there's really no point of using a pulse. You're better off using a booster shot and immune station, as I said. But if you're using that, you're really missing out on the extra critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So for that reason, you want to use a precision talent. This thing, anytime you hit a headshot on an enemy, activates a pulse on that body for 10 seconds, and it pretty much gives you, I think it's 10% or 11% critical hit chance and 11% critical hit damage. Now once again, don't quote me on the specific numbers, but whenever I do my test with the house, without the precision talent being activated, I do about 50,000 crits on the body, and with this talent being activated by hitting a headshot, I do about 54, 55. It just really depends if my exotic talent is flipped or not. So as I said, this thing is a very simple talent to use. You're pretty much going for headshots as you are in a gunfight most of the time. So you might as well use this and get the benefit of critical hit chance and critical hit damage, just so you can melt the enemy a little bit quicker. And also, if your electronics suck and if your skill power sucks, stuff like that, you can have a pulse and also have immune station and a booster shot on your build. The final thing I do want to talk about for PvP is high rate of fire weapons. Honestly, no matter how high the base damage is on a weapon, like an AK-47, classic AK, black mark AK, no matter what it is, even the Warlord, the high rate of fire weapons will always win. I shouldn't say always, but 9 out of 10 times they will win in a 1v1 gunfight for PvP, because in that same time, the person is hitting you with like 7k more base damage on the weapon. For example, if using a lightweight 4 and you have a 20,000 base damage and the other person has a AK and they have 27,000 base damage, yes, the other person might hit you a bit harder, but in that same time, whenever they shoot a bullet, you can shoot about 2 or 3 bullets, and it's going to equal to more base damage than what the other person is using on their AK. So as I said, anything with high rate of fires on your build is very, very good, and it's not always going to help you a lot, but it's something that's definitely going to help you win some gunfights. And if you're not using like the lightweight 4, LVOAC, MP5N, the house, even the MP7 is halfway decent, although it got nerfed a lot. If you make a decent build with it, the MP7 can really, really melt, and it can win you a lot of gunfights. That brings me to another point. You always want to have rate of fire on your magazine. No matter what gun you're using, it could be a lightweight 4, it could be the house, LVAC, MP5N. The rate of fire, in my mind, is the way to go. So something like magazine size, crit chance, and rate of fire is the best combination for pretty much every weapon. So, like I said previously, if you combine high critical hit chance, high critical hit damage, a lot of rate of fire, and a booster shot on your build, that burst damage, that damage alone is going to make you pretty much melt anyone in your sight, even if you don't have a lot of firearms on your build. Anyways, that is it for the video. As I said, I wanted to cover some tips and tricks for PvP. I could do a video like this for PvE as well. It's a little bit different for PvE. There's more kind of strategies you can use. But at the end of the day, I did think the PvP version of this video was a bit more important and a bit more useful for everyone playing the game. But like I said, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll respond to all my comments. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.